Yes, beta. Let's start with the next simple past tense. You can see on the screen. The simple past tense is formed by using the past tense form of the verb. She sang, the children played, I wrote a letter. That means we use the past form. It means the second form of the verb. The negative sentences have the form did not or didn't plus main verb. Please be careful when you write the negative form. This is the common mistake many people do, that we write did not with the second form. This is wrong. When we use did not, then we have to use first form. That means first form, simple form of the verb, base form. Simple sentence hai to second form in the past indefinite, and if it is negative, that did not plus first form. She did not sing, the children did not play, I did not write a letter. Then for the interrogative sentences, we are making it with the help of did in the beginning, taking did helping verb in the beginning before the subject, and the base form of the verb after the subject. That means first form again. Whenever we use did in the sentence as helping verb, this will take only first form of the verb. Did she sing? Did the children play? Did I write a letter? The negative interrogative sentences are formed by placing did before the subject and not before the verb. Be particular for the placement of not. Did she not sing? Not is used after the subject and helping verb did in the beginning before the subject. Or if we take the short form, didn't she sing? Then not is added in the beginning only. Didn't the children play? Then where we use past indefinite, the simple past tense is used to indicate an action that was completed in the past. Generally, the adverbials of the past time are used. The action that completed in the past. कोई ऐसा काम जो हम past में ही खत्म कर लेते हैं, there we use past indefinite, and generally some adverbs of the past are used. I went to Delhi yesterday. She met us 2 days ago. He wrote a letter to her last week. See the past adverbial time phrases given: yesterday, 2 days ago, last week. So when we have these type of adverbs which refer to the time of the past, then we use past indefinite, and the second form is used in all sentences. There is no need of thinking about the persons and the singular or plural as we were doing in present. In the past, it's very simple that any subject is there, you have to use the second form of the verb with all the subjects if the sentence is simple or affirmative. If it is negative, then did not plus first form. Question form hai to we'll take did in the beginning, and then we'll use first form of the verb with the question mark at the end of the sentence. Then coming to the second thing, that is sometimes without the adverbs of time, their sentences are given. My father congratulated me on my success. No time phrase is given, no adverb of time is given. Our team won the match. The action refers to past time only. For an activity done in the past, sometimes we use the past indefinite also when we mention some activity that was done in the past. Steve studied for 3 hours. I swam for half an hour. We talked for 5 minutes. Time is given. It refers to the past time activity. Then to express habitual or regular action in the past, कोई ऐसा एक्शन जो कि हमारी हैबिट थी पास्ट में, या हम कोई रेगुलर एक्शन करते थे, हैबिचुअल एक्शन इन द पास्ट, यू कैन से माय फादर ऑलवेज गॉट अप एट 4 AM, लेकिन अब नहीं उठते हैं। इसका मतलब क्या होता है कि पास्ट में उनकी हैबिट थी कि वो 4 बजे उठते थे। ऑलवेज जो है हमें बताता है कि हमेशा उठते थे, लेकिन अब नहीं उठते। ठीक है, दिस इज हैबिट ऑफ पास्ट। शी विजिटेड द टेम्पल एवरी डे। He worked in his garden every Sunday. So these are the actions which relate to the regular actions of the past or the habitual actions of the past. Then coming to the next type, that is in conditional clauses. We have read in the present tense also, when there are conditional clauses, we use present tense in the subordinate clause. And here in the past tense, this is the second type of conditional sentence. If the subordinate clause starts with if and we are using their past, the second clause will take would, could, should, any one out of these modal verb plus first form of the verb. So this is here, if he went there, you should meet him. This means the action is possible, it may happen, हो सकता है, possible action है इसमें, जो second clause में दिया गया है. So here the second form is used, if you went there. Second, if she worked hard, she would pass. मतलब there is still possibility of the action to be done, कि अगर वो मेहनत करती तो पास हो जाएगी. If he accepted my advice, he would overcome his difficulty. Then in the indirect form of speech, जब आप reported speech लिखते हो narration में, he said, comma, inverted commas begin, I work for 8 hours every day. He said, reporting verb is given in the past. He said that he worked for 8 hours every day. Here we can see the sequence of tenses also, or the rules of the reported speech. If we have in one part before the conjunction in the reporting verb past tense is given, then in the reported speech, we use past tense. Clear? My teacher said, I pray to God for your success. My teacher said that he prayed to God for our success. Again, the same rule, past in reporting verb and the past in reported speech. Or you can say the past given in the first clause and the second clause will also past tense. Then coming to the next, that is past progressive, or you can say past continuous tense. The past progressive tense has the form was, were plus present participle, that is first form with ing. He was writing a letter, the children were playing, the girls were singing. We use was for the singular and were for the plural subject. Then for the negative sentences, we use not and where it is placed. He was not writing a letter. Not is placed in between the helping verb and the main verb. He was not writing. Was is the helping verb, writing main verb. Not is placed in between. The children were not playing. The girls were not singing. The interrogative sentences are formed by placing was or were before the subject. We bring was or were in the beginning. That means before the subject. Was he writing a letter? Were the children playing? Were the girls singing? The negative interrogative sentences are formed by putting was, were before the subject and not before the present participle. Present participle means first form with ing. उससे पहले not लगाना है. In contracted form, we write wasn't or were not. Was he not writing a letter? Wasn't he writing a letter? Were the children not playing? Note the placement of the word not. नेगेटिव है तो आप क्वेश्चन फॉर्म के साथ नेगेटिव में दोनों चीजों को कैसे एडजस्ट करते हो. देन यूजेस ऑफ द पास्ट प्रोग्रेसिव टेंस. Past progressive means the continuous tense is used to express an state or an action that was continuing at a certain point of time in the past. कि past के एक particular टाइम पर एक सर्टन पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम के ऊपर जो एक्शन जो है दैट इज इन कॉन्टिन्यूएशन, दैट वाज इन कॉन्टिन्यूएशन. इट हैड बिगन बिफोर दैट पॉइंट एंड वाज प्रोबेबली कंटिन्यूइंग आफ्टर इट. कि एक पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट है, उस टाइम पे ये काम शुरू हुआ और शायद उस टाइम तक चल रहा था when the action was told or when it was spoken. We use adverbials of time. यहाँ पर भी time adverbs जो हैं use होते हैं. She was cooking at 8 a.m. That means action started before 8 a.m. and it was in continuation till 8 a.m. I was going to college in the morning. Was the farmer returning from his fields in the evening? Then to express an action that was in progress in the past. Past में action progress में था. He was sleeping, she was singing, I was reading a newspaper. To express an action, here we see that no adverb is given, no time adverb is given. Means action was in continuation, but time is not told. To express an action in progress at some point of time in the past when another event took place. The action past में continuation में था, it was in progress when another event took place. उसके साथ ही दूसरा event या दूसरा action जो है वो start हो गया. She was watching TV when he came. Two actions are given. एक one action is in continuation and the second happened. She was watching TV, continuation में है, when he came. He was reading a novel when the doorbell rang. I was sleeping when my father came from his office. To describe two or more actions, we use continuous tense happening at the same time simultaneously जब दो actions हो रहे होते हैं. While I was bathing, my sister was singing. While he was doing homework, his brother was listening to songs. Then to indicate a frequently repeated action or persistent habit in the past. कोई action ऐसा जो कि बार बार किया जाता है या कोई ऐसी habit past की जो कि persistent habit थी, regular की जाती थी. He was constantly complaining about something or the other. That means in the habit of complaining. Constantly complain करता था, कभी एक चीज के बारे में कभी दूसरी चीज के बारे में. She was always finding fault with my work. That means it was in her nature to find fault, दूसरों की गलतियां निकालना. Constantly repeated action है. Sohan was always smoking, whether at home or in office. It was his habit, past habit. Then using the past perfect tense, the past perfect tense has the form had plus past participle. That means third form of the verb. What is past participle? Third form of the verb plus had. He had taken his lunch. I had read this book before. She had never been to Agra. The negative sentences are formed by placing not after had, and the contracted form is hadn't. He had not taken his lunch. I hadn't read this book before. She had not been to Agra. Then interrogative sentences are formed by using had before the subject. Had he taken his lunch? Had I read this book before? Had you ever been to Agra? The negative interrogative sentences are formed by placing had before the subject and not before the past participle. कि had कहाँ लगाना है beginning में, and not in between the subject and the main verb. That is third form of the verb past participle. Had he not taken his lunch? Had you not read this book before? Had you never been to Agra? Then where we use past perfect. The past perfect tense is used for an action that had been completed before another action began in the past. Please note down, it is used for an action that had been completed before another action began in the past. Two actions are going on. One action is finished, one action is completed before the second action started. So what we have to see how to use past perfect tense when we have to see which action had happened first. जो काम पहले हुआ that will take past perfect tense and the second action will take past indefinite. See the example, I had done my work before he came. मैं काम कर चुका था जब वो आया. मतलब पहले एक्शन क्या हुआ है, काम फिनिश होना, उसके बाद आना. So the action that happened first will take past perfect and the second action will take past indefinite. The guests had already left when she reached there. Which action happened first? The guests had already left. Guests पहले जा चुके थे. So this action will take past perfect and the second action will take past indefinite. To describe an action taking place before a particular time in the past. कि कई बार आपको एक पर्टिकुलर टाइम दे दिया जाता है, उससे पहले वो एक्शन जो है वो खत्म हो चुका होता है. तो टू डिस्क्राइब एन एक्शन टेकिंग प्लेस बिफोर अ पर्टिकुलर टाइम इन द पास्ट, पास्ट के उस टाइम से पहले वो एक्शन हो चुका होता है. बाय 2 p.m. all the students had left the school. The students had left the school by 2 p.m. That means time phrase is given, time particular time is given कि 2 बजे तक सब स्टूडेंट्स जा चुके थे. By 6 a.m. he had left for Delhi. To describe an action in the past which became the cause of another action. कोई ऐसा एक्शन जो कि पास्ट में हुआ एंड देन इट बिकेम द कॉज ऑफ अनदर एक्शन, उसकी वजह से कोई दूसरा एक्शन हुआ. ठीक है. द चाइल्ड वॉज क्राइंग बिकॉज द फादर हैड बीटन हिम. क्यों चला रहा था बच्चा? बिकॉज द फादर हैड बीटन हिम. तो कौन सा काम पहले हुआ? फादर ने उसको पहले मारा. सो दिस एक्शन विल टेक past perfect and the second action is taking continuous tense. The child was crying because the father had beaten him and it is the effect, it is due to that first action that has happened. Sonu was weeping because he had lost his bag. बैग खो गया था जिस वजह से वो रो रहा था. That means it is the cause of that another action. to describe an action in the past using the time adverbials such as already, since, before, etc. जब ये adverb phrases use किए जाते हैं, words use किए होते हैं in any sentence, that will take past perfect. Already, since, before. He had already left for Ludhiana. She had not come here since 1960. They had not met each other before. So we are using here exact time since 1960. They had not met each other before. To express an unfulfilled wish. कोई ऐसी बात, ऐसी डिजायर या विश जो कि आपकी पूरी नहीं हुई, जहां पर कि हम कहते हैं कि एक्शन इम्पॉसिबल है कंडीशनल सेंटेंसेस में. This is again talking about the conditional. We have covered all the rules of the conditional sentences in the present also. That was present plus future. In the second, we have used past plus would, could, should, have plus first, would, could, should plus first form. Or this is the third pattern of the conditional sentences where the unfulfilled wish, or you can say the impossible action, is there. For example, if you had worked hard, you would have passed. क्या कहा जा रहा है कि अगर आपने मेहनत की होती तो आप पास हो जाते. That means now there is no time for this to think over this. This is that thinking after the time has gone. कि अब रिजल्ट डिक्लेयर हो चुका है, उस टाइम ये बात कही जाती है कि अगर आपने मेहनत की होती तो आप पास हो जाते. दैट मीन्स नाउ इट इज द एक्शन विच इज इम्पॉसिबल. There's no possibility of fulfilling or completing this action now. We just think over about that. They had left early. If they had left early, they would have caught the train, because now the train had gone. They had missed the train. Then this thing is talked about. Then coming to the next, past perfect progressive tense, or you can say the past perfect continuous tense. Past perfect progressive tense has the form had been plus present participle, means first form with ing. They had been waiting here since morning. She had been dancing for half an hour. We discussed yesterday the use of since and for. We use since. The same is for all the perfect continuous tenses. Since is used when the point of time or the exact time is given, and for is used when we're given the period of time or the duration of time. The negative sentences are formed by using not, between, had, and been. Had not been. They had not been doing any work. She had not been dancing. Then interrogative sentences are formed by using had before the subject. Had they been doing any work? Had she been dancing for a half an hour? The negative interrogative sentences are formed by placing had before the subject and not before been. Note down the placement of not here, because we have three words now in the verb had, been, then first form ing. अब not की placing का ध्यान रखना यहाँ पर. Had they not been waiting for us, that means not is used after the subject and had helping verb is taken in the beginning before the subject. Had she not been dancing for half an hour? Then where we use the past progressive, perfect progressive tenses, continuous tenses. The past perfect progressive tense is used to describe an action in the past that had begun and had been going on for some time before another action took place in the past. कि past में काम शुरू हुआ, action that in the past that had begun and had been going on for some time, थोड़ी देर तक वो काम चलता रहा इससे पहले कि कोई दूसरा और एक्शन पास्ट का शुरू हो. शी हैड, बोथ एक्शन रिलेट्स टू पास्ट. ठीक है. शी हैड बीन डांसिंग फॉर हाफ एन आवर व्हेन वी रीच्ड देयर. बोथ एक्शंस रिलेट टू पास्ट. वन एक्शन स्टार्टेड and then it continued for some time before the next action start. Clear? She had been dancing for half an hour. Action started in the past, continued for half an hour. Then another action happened, that was reaching there, or reaching here. The match had been going on for several hours. Then to express a repeated action in the past. Past का कोई repeated action है. She had always been asking us for help. बार बार help के लिए पूछती थी. They had been trying to meet the prime minister. They were trying again and again. Repeated action hai. To describe an action which began before the time of speaking in the past. Before the time of speaking in the past. ऐसा action जो कि बोलने से पहले, बिफोर द टाइम ऑफ स्पीकिंग इन द पास्ट, पास्ट में हो रहा है लेकिन not happening at the time of speaking. The action either stopped before that time or continued at time. दोनों तरह से हो सकता है. It can be over or it can be stopped before that time, or it can be in continuation up to that time. The farmer had been plowing since morning. The children had been playing for the last 1 hour. ठीक है. So we are using here had been first form ing and take care of the use of since for the exact time, for the point of time, and for the period of time. Clear? Now if you have any doubt you can ask.